The AniMoguls are in the house. I'm Megabucks.
And I'm Tycoon, coming to you live from AniMoguls headquarters.
Time for a new Disney series, Disney Food. Now, both Tycoon and I are huge foodies, so this should be interesting.
And delicious to boot.
Now, I don't know about you, Tycoon, but I'm craving seafood right now. So let's dive into this topic by starting with the Little Mermaid. Now, Ariel's in a unique position, because she ends up marrying a prince who lives in a seaside kingdom. And as we all know, if your kingdom is located by the sea, some of your local economy is going to be devoted to commercial fishing.
This is pretty problematic for Ariel, who's half fish. I mean, she married the enemy, the guy who would have probably enjoyed snacking on her tail for brunch if he hadn't fallen in love with her.
I mean, what if Eric is a huge fan of seafood? Eric and Grimsby almost devoured Sebastian, who's one of Ariel's best friends and mentors. That's gotta be terrifying, knowing that at any moment, Eric might have a midnight craving for fish and chips. And if the pantry's not stocked and he's hungry enough, he might just barbecue flounder.
It makes sense, because Eric's a sailor. I mean, what else is he supposed to eat while he's out at sea, with no other food source available to him? They even showed Eric and his crew nabbing nets filled with poor, helpless fish at the very beginning of the movie. So we know for a fact that Eric is a fish-killing monster.
And now that Ariel has legs, she looks totally human. I mean, what if Eric forgets about Ariel's mermaid past and expects her to eat fish too? That would be cannibalism.
I can totally see this happening, because Prince Eric isn't exactly the sharpest knife in the drawer. He only saw Ariel as a mermaid during their big battle with Ursula, and that lasted, 2 hours max? I mean, Ariel's dad turns her back into a human right after, so it would be super easy to forget your wife was half fish a couple of years ago.
Even if Ariel doesn't eat seafood, it would be weird if Eric does. What he's doing essentially is catching and eating his own royal subjects. Because after he married Ariel, he got royal status in Atlantica. And eating your own subjects, well, that's pretty cruel by any standards.
I'm not surprised Ariel married Eric. They were young and in love. The future seemed bright and filled with limitless potential. But what I don't get is how Eric and Ariel don't end up getting a divorce after all these issues come to the surface. But yeah, I mean, does Ariel just stay with Eric because of the custody issues surrounding baby Melody? How would the whole joint custody thing work if one parent was at sea and the other was on land? Maybe that's why she decided to just stay with Eric, to avoid the commute times.
I'm sure King Triton would have let her come back, although not without a few, "Ariel, I told you so's." I'm trying to think of some solutions here. I guess Ariel and Eric could move inland and avoid the sea altogether. Eric's obsession with seafood is kind of like a drug addiction. If you remove the temptation, it'll be easier to quit the habit. They could stick to eating land animals, I guess.
And they can't eat birds either, 'cause of Scuttle. I mean, in a roundabout way, he helped bring them together. He's the one who told Ariel that Vanessa was Ursula. If he hadn't, Ariel would have let Eric marry Vanessa and the whole story would have ended there. So yeah, I think Eric and Ariel should just go vegan. Or at least lacto-vegetarian.
I guess all marriages, even Disney marriages, are about give and take. Because Ariel does stuff that bugs Eric too. Ariel's obsession with forks, for example, has got to be really annoying. Because what if Ariel decides she can use her fork to do double duty? Brush her hair by day, stab french fries by night? That would be unhygienic.
Yeah, it would be like if Rapunzel hit Flynn with her frying pan and then cooked them a romantic dinner for two using the same frying pan. But while that scenario would be efficient, Ariel eating and brushing her hair with the same fork would just be gross.
Before we wrap up, I just want to know, does Triton use his trident as a giant fork? Like, say he has a bunch of blue whales over for lunch, and one of them's like, "Where is my serving of pasta?" Do you think Triton uses his trident to serve them a huge bowl full of linguine?
I should hope so. As king, he needs to constantly prove that he's a wise ruler, so he needs to serve them their food as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Good point, pun intended. Because if he uses a regular-sized fork, the pasta would get cold before he even served one of the whales.
That brings us to the end of Disney Food Part 1. Have we mentioned how much we love and appreciate you guys? Thanks for hanging with the AniMoguls.